Welcome to eVision Live with Dr. Alexandra Kleeberg
and Dietrich Bosacker. Welcome to your healthy, happy, fulfilled life.
This broadcast is brought to you by the eVision Institute, and our topic of the day is networking with heart. Heartfully networking. So we had several broadcast episodes in the last months on the theme of the heart. And we also already last time we had a broadcast on networking. We were on a networking conference in California. We learned a lot from there. We got lots of interesting, encouraging contacts. And we want to continue on this, because if you want to network, we think there is something which is important, because let's see, networking, you can do anything with networking, but today we will talk about the values maybe of networking. What are good, healthy attitudes in networking?
But for me, we are preparing for a healing network.
Yeah, it's a healing.
There are tons of networks around the world, and not all the networks are healing. There are people who network terrible things. Probably Hitler was a good networker, and this is not the idea of a healing network, what he founded, right? So last time we talked about the caterpillar becoming a butterfly, and we were talking about this state in the puppet, in the chrysalis, and there is this old system of the caterpillar eating, and the new system of the butterfly starts to evolve, and they are fighting against each other, and the old system wants to win, and it is sort of eating up itself. It's eating up a lot of the new system, but as the old system doesn't have enough to eat anymore, the new system becomes more and more and more and more, and there's this magic moment when these new cells start to network.
So this is one analogy for networking, I think. How about, because if you think in the body, who is a networker in the body? It's our brain. Can we learn something from the brain for networking?
Yes, the brain is a very good networker, but the brain can network in the old system and in the new system. So what I want to explain with the metaphor of the chrysalis is that the old system has other values or other forms of networking than the new body. And we want to network for a healing world, and this means that the way we network is different from the way we used to network. And it has some rules or laws. You know, I'm a child of freedom actually, but the freedom stops when we hurt one another.
Oh, yes, okay.
So I can say I have the freedom to sit here on the sofa and so forth. But this might not be healing. It was fun now, but so this old system has a value of competition. And competition might be okay for a few minutes or an hour a day, but not as a basic rule or basic ethics. Competition as a basic ethics is not a healing value.
Because competition means I'm the best, my opinion is the only one that is valuable.
Yes, or the other way around. I'm not good enough, I can't do it, I'm poor, I'm not smart, and so forth. So we need, in this new system, if we want to become this butterfly humanity, we need another way of thinking and imaging about ourselves and feeling about ourselves, and we need other ways to communicate. And so it's really important to identify what is the old system and what is the new system, and I can't prepare for the new system on the rules of the old system. It wouldn't work. If I network the same way, I'm better, I'm not good enough or so. This is not the new world. There is this butterfly, doesn't say, oh, the monarch butterfly, I'm better than the other butterfly or something. They're just all swinging and all individuals.
Okay. So what are then the values which are important for a new world, for a healing world?
So one value or one rule I tell to my groups, and in my groups I work with communities, is the first one is to delete some words. And the words are I must, I ought to, I should, it's my duty, discipline. So those are words, and with these words go structures of belief that my life is determined from something else, from norms maybe or opinions of other people. So it's very important to come back to self-determination. And we have this language in Germany, maybe even more than in America or in some other places. I should wash my dishes now, I should clean my room, I must go to the doctor. I don't have to do that. If I think about it, I don't have to go to the doctor. I decided to use the doctor for my health. I want to clean my apartment to feel well. So it's very important to come from determination by others or by measurements that are norms to self-determination. And language shows...
And what feels good. Self-determination means actually would mean that what feels good for you.
Yes, what feels good for me. Does it feel good in the body to clean my apartment now? Or maybe it doesn't feel good right now, but it feels good in half an hour when everything is clean.
Yes, I have the vision that I want to achieve something, that I want to feel good, and this is maybe that necessary to one step to go to there.
So when we network, we don't say, I have to network now. And this goes inside. The brain should network in a different way. The brain has to combine or to relate with the forces of the heart. So it becomes another power. But this is also a rule we can follow. If we want this new way, we want to wish to follow this new path, and never say somebody else, you should do that, you must do that, you ought to do that. It's your duty, it's your discipline to do that. But do you want to, do you wish to? What comes from your heart, what resonates with you?
Yeah. And then I can commit to something. I can be enthused about something.
Yes. Yeah. Commitment for me is a wonderful. It feels very, very good. It's not this discipline type of thing. It for me it feels like opening the heart and be enthused and with willpower on a way to a certain goal.
Beautiful.
I love the word commitment. Yeah. And it is also the like in community and cooperation and so forth. So please delete must and should and discipline and duty, and ask your heart what you want, what you wish, what you will do.
So this was number one.
Yes.
Number two.
Number two is self-responsibility. We live in a world where we are projecting a lot of things, feelings, opinions out there into the world.
Yeah.
This neighbor is terrible. This teacher is
not good or whatever. Yeah.
This woman is not smart enough.
But this
is mean. So these are judgments.
Yeah. And
judgments produce hierarchies. And hierarchies are, in this sense, don't heal, because you feel either like a big shot, and maybe it's more healing for the big shot. There are some people who project a lot out of into to the world. They have come to old age. I know some mean, it's a judgment. It's some people that don't feel good in my body, and they are healthy and very old. So but that's not the self-healing and the community healing I teach. I like it from the heart, and everybody feels well. If you want a healing community, a healing network, then really everybody has to resonate with it and feel well.
But what does it mean, taking over self-responsibility?
That not this other person is terrible, but I have a switch. I have something.
The switch you can just turn on, turn off?
That I developed, and which might cause stress when I hear something from the outside. So I have learned to react to that person in a way that I feel angry, or I feel hurt, or I feel sad. And this is my responsibility to take over. I am hurt. This might be the cause, but I am the...
What has triggered you, and you have the responsibility if you are reacting to it in one way or the other.
It is my responsibility, and not this person is awful or terrible or nasty or whatever.
I think one example for me, which makes it always very clear that you use this often, is when you have, for example, migraine, and you said, oh, the weather has been so terrible, there is this warm wind coming down the mountains, and it's so that causes me migraine. I have the decision I can make if I have migraine or not. I'm somehow reacting to it, and I can make, it's my responsibility, and I'm just taking it outside. If it's outside a responsibility, then I'm actually victim. I don't have anymore my self-determination, and I'm not anymore responsible for something. And this is the wrong way.
What the people who come to my self-healing community, they have to sign that I take responsibility for every thought I have, for every feeling I have, and for every body reaction I create. So we are clear in that. So you're not the bad guy, but I have a trigger that makes me feel hurt or whatever.
Okay. So welcome back. You've seen us in different clothes. We are sitting in a different location. We had technical problems. We promised you to provide the broadcast on Wednesday, but we had too much to do. We were not able to provide anything, but we made a very interesting interview that you'll get in 2 weeks. So let's continue, or let's wrap up a little bit. So we have been discussing about networking for a healing world, and we were discussing about the topic of values for networking for a healing world. We have already been discussing self-determination and self-responsibility as the first two important factors. And now there's a third one that, Alexandra, that you call authenticity. What do you mean with that? Why is this important
to be honest, to be real, to be authentic? And this means not only to tell the truth, but to express the true feelings that you have. And this is sometimes quite a challenge. I have a lot of people from spiritual practices, and they come with stomach aches or migraine or something like that, and they are oriented on norms that go with this spiritual practice. Like they are supposed to be peaceful, or to be nice, or to be calm, or whatever. And so they suppress a lot of their emotions, like feeling hurt, or being angry, or raging, or whatever. I think anger is a theme in our society. There is no good expression of anger possible. And I mean good expression of anger is that I don't hurt anybody, but I still get rid of the emotion. So I think for authenticity, it's often necessary to free the anger. There's this wonderful book by the son or the grandson of Mahatma Gandhi called Anger is a Gift. And it's really hard to find ways in our society to express it. So in my book, 9 Steps into the Life of Health, I have about, I don't know, 20 examples of how you can do it.
Wow.
To shake it off, to scream it off, to switch it off and dance it or whatever. There's a long list of possibilities. So if we are networking for a healing world, then please don't put under a video, oh, you are so stupid or you look so sick or whatever. I've had all that before. But rather, oh, there's a trigger in me and it makes me angry or it makes me doubtful or whatever. So this is authenticity.
Okay.
To judge is not authentic. It's an opinion that goes with some norms and measurements.
Okay.
So I think what people like about the groups I lead, it's that everybody is authentic. They can rage, they can cry, they can shake off laughter. It's not this soft, careful atmosphere all the time. Sometimes we are very wild, but that's authenticity for me goes before being peaceful maybe, or being, that's the next step. I think I can only be very real peaceful if I allow myself to be authentic.
Okay, thank you. So when we were just discussing about the values, and now the next, I think, important point for us in terms of healing for networking for a healing world is the content, the information that is there. So we have the values, and we now work with content. What is the healing content for you?
I think it's good to offer healing content, which has some rules to it. So please, a healing content for me is something which is not negative, which doesn't have a no, no no's. And this has a few reasons. One is that the brain can't really understand the no. If I tell you don't think of a Christmas tree right now, you think of a Christmas tree. So it doesn't make sense because the brain hears something and visualizes it, and you can't visualize a no.
Okay.
Right? Even if you have a Christmas tree and you have to have a crossover, you still see the Christmas tree.
Sure.
And if you paint it black, you don't see the Christmas tree.
Yeah.
So this is the intellectual cause. And the other reason is that if you align to something negative, it pulls up energy for you. And there's this wonderful story in the internet. You don't know always if the stories are true, the internet stories, but it's a wonderful story. Is that Mother Teresa said, I never go to an anti-war demonstration.
Okay.
But I will join every peace demonstration.
Okay, that's a difference, yeah.
And it's a difference emotionally. If I go to anti-war, I think of Syria, of Yemen, and of cruelty. And I'm together with people out of...
you have immediately negative images in your mind, and this affect you and your body.
I go on this demonstration maybe out of a need or out of a feeling, which is rage or anger or whatever. If
I remember I was always so exhausted coming back from this anti-war demonstration at the 30 years ago. It was really exhausting.
Okay. and pro-peace demonstration would have another atmosphere and would be another feeling. And in my groups as a psychoanalyst and psychotherapist, I really focus on the positive goal and not on the symptoms. I'm not antidepressive or anti-anxiety or anti-symptoms. The old psychotherapeutical system is to combine groups that fit together because they have a certain disease. There are depression groups, anxiety groups, migraine groups, tinnitus groups, or whatever. And from my experience, it's more effective not to work with the symptoms in this way, but to work with the goal of a healing world or a healing life or a healing body. And the symptoms, they will come along. You don't neglect them in a way, you just don't focus on them, and they will come on your way as a blockade, as an obstacle, as a pain. So you will get them anyway. You won't come from A to Z without taking care of the symptoms from the past. But you don't focus on them.
It's possible to work with people of completely different sicknesses in the same group.
Yes, they all have the same goal. I think this unites very, very much. They are all on this path into a happy, healthy, fulfilled life. And they see themselves dancing and laughing and full of joy and healthy, of course. And this sticks them together in a way. It creates harmony in a group because they have like a navigator, they have a goal where they all want to go to Hamburg or to New York or whatever. So they stick together on this path and they support each other on the path. And I don't work with symptoms from another reason, is that I don't think the symptoms aren't the point. It's society that is sick. And the symptom might be a healthy expression of a sick learned mindset or program or trauma. So this is another reason why I don't focus on symptoms. And for me, it's not only the goal is a happy, healthy, fulfilled life, but a happy, healthy, fulfilled society. So we don't need these symptoms anymore. We don't need sickness and trauma anymore.
It is quite radical, I would say, in terms of the shift in how health care system would function.
Yes, I call this the healing shift.
You call it the healing shift. Okay, but this leads us actually to the third, I think, the third point for networking for healing world, which are, let's see, our common healing vision. What is a vision? Where do we want to go? So what is a vision of a healing world that we have? So this maybe could be even a question you could ask also yourself or maybe other people. What is your vision of a healing world? What are your values for that?
Yes. For me, a healing world includes everybody or even every living being. So we can't exclude people from that. Healing is a common goal we want to create, where everybody heals, which means we have to take everybody in a sense on this path. How we do it, we will discuss it next year. We have some interviews on that. But it's an inclusive vision. So what we do for healing is valuable for every living being. So this is the question you can ask your friends, your partners, your school, your kindergarten. What is the healing vision?
So we have been discussing about this networking for a healing world. This is our third or second emission or broadcast on this. And really we want to get into contact with you. We want to get your feedback on that, how do you resonate to this? So please send us maybe by messenger or below here on our Facebook group, Self Healing and Potential Development.
please leave us comments there, and we will get back to you to contact
so
you.
we can co-create a
So we
healing
can
world.
co-create a healing world. This is our objective. And so let's see what is next up. So because we are having, it's now getting closer to Christmas. Not everybody is Christian. Nevertheless, I think we can learn something from this story of the birth of Christ and everything around this. And we have prepared for this Christmas period season, we have prepared a very, very special, interesting program for you. So we will give you some content on this right now. And please stay tuned in to the end, because we still have a nice little exercise that relates to all of this.
And the program will be on the inner child.
The inner child.
Yes.
Okay, why the inner child?
Christmas is a celebration time even before Christ. It's the birth of the light.
Mm-hmm.
And for us people in the Northern Hemisphere, it was very important to have light, which we didn't have torches, we didn't have electric light. We were just into these rhythms of day and night, and the nights got longer, the days got shorter, it's getting colder. And so the time around December 21st was celebrated, I think, all over the Northern Hemisphere.
So, for example, let's see here in Germany at December 21st around, we have just, let's see, 6-7 hours of daylight.
Yes.
If you go 1,000 kilometers north, it's just less. It's maybe even not 1 hour.
So light was always very important. It was important for food, it was important for the body and the rhythms, for warmth and so forth. So the Christians just picked it up and they combined it with the inner child, and the inner child is the light of the world.
Mm-hmm.
And we want to give you some information and exercises on that. What is the inner child? How do I contact it? And how can I bring it into a happy, healthy, fulfilled life?
Wonderful. And one other special thing, we made an interview with Professor Müller-Erlinghausen. We made it in German, but we will provide you the content in English, and it's about the power of touch.
Yes, he's done a lot of research on touch, and touch goes with the inner child, or the archetype of childhood. It's very bodily. Touching is very, very healthy, so this might be one task, just touch people in a nice way. And today, just prepare for that and ask yourself, how do I care for myself over the day?
So the exercise that we do have for you is, how do I care for myself, your body, your emotions? I think this is something, a question in order to prepare yourself for the inner child broadcast. And also, if you don't have it yet, there is this wonderful little, actually it's a children's book by Alexandra, You Are Extraordinary. And well, it is actually about the inner child. So it's for children, but for adults can read it as a book about the inner child.
Yes, I discussed it with a lot of people before I edited it or wrote it even. And there was this 65-year-old woman in Germany. She just had a fight with her 68-year-old husband and was very upset. And I sent her the book as an email, and she opened it and she read it all the way through, and she said she was so moved by it. Tears ran down and she forgot about her husband and she took care of her inner child. So it's a book for children, but it's also a book for grown-ups and their inner childs, and how to translate them, communicate them between grown-ups and children.
Okay, so thank you very much. And if you want to get another gift from us, then stay one more minute here, because Alexandra's, we had this broadcast, a book tour on her book Healing Every Day, and we still have a few of these little book stubs left. At the back you find a number, And if you go then to the page website of Balboa Press, you put in the number, then you can download a free copy of this Healing Everyday book. It's really about the rhythms of time and how to integrate self-healing exercises into your daily life.
That would be a good book for the beginning of next year.
Yes.
Just to start healing the day.
So if you want to have this book, please just send us a message below or give us somewhere your contact. Send us a Facebook Messenger, for example, a note, so we can send you one of the codes for getting the book.
Okay.
So this is our gift to you. So sorry once more that we had these technical problems. We hope you enjoyed this emission, and you see you next week on the inner child. I'm really looking forward to that.
Okay. Open your heart and start.